Welcome. How are you doing out there? It's Everett Pope with Proverbs of the day. It's the 31st of May, so that takes us to Proverbs 31. A lot of times you've heard people talk about maybe P31 women. Shout out to SB2Dub, where one of my younger brothers, Timotheus Pope, is the director of City Kids, and that's where I first heard this terminology of P31 woman. And ever since then, I don't know, 12 years ago or more, we've been trying to cultivate Proverbs 31 type women. If you got some young adults, women and men between the ages of 8 and 18, I encourage you to check out City Kids. It's a Christian sports camp. It's amazing, and it will radically change the lives of your young people. And certainly, based on watching the news, we really have to go after our young people. And in order for us to have stable and prosperous, successful homes, you have to have awesome marriages. And when you have an awesome marriage, you have to have an awesome husband and an awesome wife. Well, in Proverbs 31, that's exactly what it speaks of. It speaks of an awesome woman. And so what I want to do, because verses 10 through 31 all talk about how she is. So today, what I want to do is read for you these verses 10 through 31. And then after reading these verses, we'll just sit back and do what the Proverbs has this term. It's a musical term. It's called Selah. And so inside the Psalms, when you see that word written, S-E-L-A-H, Selah, it means to pause. And so when you're reading or singing it, which the Psalms were sung, you pause. And so we're going to take a Selah after we do this and just look at the last two verses. So may the Lord add a blessing to your life and mine as we look at the text. And so I want to put it on the screen for you. Give me a second so you can see it. Hopefully you're doing well and having a good Tuesday afternoon after your Memorial Day. Shout out to all those who serve our country, and certainly remembering yesterday all of those who have lost their lives as a result of serving our country. And if you were just coming by this channel, it's the first time you've been here, give us a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. Subscribe and get someone else to subscribe so that we can continue to share good news with as many people as we can. All right, P31 women, let's go. Who can find a virtuous wife? For her worth is far above rubies. The heart of her husband safely trusts her, so he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax and willingly works with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. She also rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household and a portion for her maid servants. She considers a field and buys it. From her profits, she plants a vineyard. She girds herself with strength and strengthens her arms. She perceives that her merchandise is good, and her lamp does not go out by night. She stretches out her hands to the distaff, and her hand holds the spindle. She extends her hand to the poor. Yes, she reaches out her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household is clothed with scarlet. She makes tapestry for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them, and supplies sashes for the merchants. Strength and honor are her clothing. She shall rejoice in time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is the law of kindness. She watches over the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Many daughters have done well, but you excel them all. Charm is deceitful, and beauty is passing. But a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. Selah. Let's take this moment to pause and just think about this awesome passage. I mean, a wife like that is amazing. And if you're listening to me and you're a woman and you're married or single, this is the goal. This is the practice. This is how you can gauge where you are. When people speak of a 10, speak of Proverbs 31 type dime, right? Not just in the way you look, not just in your makeup and mascara, but how about all of the details that were in this passage? And there are just so many awesome details. But verse 30 and verse 31 says, charm is deceitful and beauty is passing. And I want you to know that. I want you to know you're out there and you listen to me and you're a woman. Beauty is not only found in what you look like on the outside. And charm, as charming as you may be, can be deceiving. Beauty is certainly going to pass away. Now, we got some saints out there, some senior saints. I know some that have aged well, and they're in their 80s and 90s, and they look great for their age. But certainly you understand that beauty is passing every single day. And we know there's a time when we get better, right? We work on ourselves, we fill out, if you will. But then still every day, the beauty is passing on the outside. But look what it says in verse 30. It says, but a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. So the beauty on the inside is continuing to grow. There's a verse that the Apostle Paul says in 2 Corinthians chapter 4. He says, the outward man is perishing, but the inward man is being renewed day by day. I think about that when I read this verse. I think about, beauty is fading and passing, but on the inside, my fear of God, your fear of God, as it increases, will lead to exaltation. It'll lead to being praised. And that is what we all want. It says, give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. It says, if you're married and you have a wife like that, and I do have a wife like that, she is working hard to be that P31, and I'm so thankful for Myra. And if you have that, you want to give her the fruit of her hands. You want to bless her. You want to praise her, because she's not going to be there forever. And you want to give her not only her flowers, but her Coach pocketbook while she's living. And I'm kind of joking. That's kind of my wife's fetish, is pocketbooks and purses. I don't know what it is, but if you're listening to me and you're a husband or you're a single man, you're looking for a P31 woman. And then when you have one, you won't ever want to let her go. If you're a lady, single or married, and you're listening to me, this is the example of what it means to be a godly woman, to fear God. And oh my goodness, how much more beautiful you are when you fear God. Yes, this also is in the Proverbs. And as a man, I sure wish I was looking for this. God gave me a gift, but sometimes as men, we're chasing what's in the Sears catalog instead of what God has for us. You got to think about that because the text says marriage is till death do you part. Avoid sexual immorality. Find you a P31 woman, and then you will be wise. I hope that this blessed you. I hope that this encouraged you in some way today. Just glad to be with you. I love you. May the Lord bless you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and give you peace.
Welcome to United. Welcome to United.